Giving away your energy or your power is basically being stressed. This actually happened to me today before I recorded this episode. Most people think that being offended is about huge arguments and major insults. That specific window for you to grow or a connection or to succeed just passes away. Marhaban, how's it going everyone? And welcome back to Yuwab, where we share with you how we turn everyday challenges into growth so that you become the best version of yourself, not only in your life, but also at work. I'm your host, Saeed Alghafri. I'm super thrilled to be here with you today. Your time and your support means a lot to me because I want to see you really grow in this life. And this really inspires me to keep sharing with you what I learned in life. Before we dive into today's episode, you know what to do, right? I know you know someone who gets triggered too easily. And if that's the case, share this episode with them. It may change their life. You know, today's episode is something that I've encountered a lot. I used to be like that, but I've encountered a lot when it comes to people. And every time you get offended or upset or take things personally, you know what happens? You are really giving away your power. And when you stop doing that, you literally stop letting other people, word, actions control your mood. And that's what you want, because you want to shift in your life and become better. Something I learned, giving away your energy or your power is basically being stressed. It's a stress at the end of the day. It's like going to the gym where you stress yourself. So it's better that you control it well when it comes to that. This actually happened to me today before I recorded this episode. I was basically getting into a parking lot and people were exiting. And there was one guy standing and everyone was shouting at that guy, poor guy. You know, the barrier was not really working. While driving in, I'm like, alhamdulillah, I'm not having his job, because I heard curses. Everyone was blaming him for it. And the guy maintained his composure and he was really apologizing for some reason. I would lose my temper if it was me. But again, I should go and learn from this guy. So let's basically break this topic down into specific things. You know, most people think that being offended is about huge arguments and major insults. And that's basically the case sometimes. But honestly, it's not. You are going to get offended, whether you like it or not. This is the truth, by the way. It's all about how you control yourself when that happens. And you know, being offensive sneaks in very quietly. When you have this sarcastic comment, you know, or a tiny critique, you know, very tiny, but affected the other person really huge. Or maybe you're feeling ignored in a meeting, you know, or in a specific message by the company. And you'll be like, they just forgot about me. And it really affects your reaction. Then it has that consequence impact on other people and all that. But the truth of the matter is, you know, getting offended is really optional. It's all about whether you want to basically exercise it or not. You really don't have to give away your energy, you know, or your focus on a specific thing, or even your happiness. You know, some people think that it's all being offensive, but again, your happiness is a way too to other people because of a word or a reaction. And when we react to offense, here is what exactly happens. We overthink, we exaggerate, and then we reply with so many things happening in our mind. You see that, you know, movie happening in your brain, in your head, on how am I going to respond and all that. Sometimes you don't. And what happens is you carry that tension and your frustration, not only in that moment, but for the rest of the day. And you know what's the biggest problem here? It becomes just automatic with anything you encounter after that throughout your day. And you are gonna see your mood shifting, your focus will be all over, and you're gonna basically lose your confidence when it comes to making decisions. So why this is so important? When you allow offense to rule your life, here is what usually happens. You lose your mental clarity. You basically are not clear on what to do. And you start making decisions from reaction, not really proactive way. And it's not really a choice sometimes because you have to make a decision. And you let other people control your day, your energy. And sometimes, whether you are worthy or not, when it comes really extreme. And then you start asking yourself questions like, why did they say that about me? Did they mean to hurt me? And while you are in this drama and all that, you really become blind on real opportunities. They just pass away. That specific window for you to grow or a connection or to succeed just passes away because you're just in that mental movie on why did that person hurt me. Let's make it a little bit practical. Nowadays, since we are closer to the end of the year, we are all going through that end of the year appraisals, or it could be maybe beginning of the next year. Let's say you are at work and your manager is having this beautiful dialogue about how you performed this year. And then they started to talk about how you messed up in one project where you were assigned to have. And honestly, you have that feeling inside that you are basically being attacked instead of learning or hearing what are the messages from that specific person or manager. Your focus started drops and you feel it's just the end of the world. Like you should not exist in this life because of that specific thing. You see what happens. And I just want to give a tip to the manager who gives that feedback. Just be objective, Don't be dismissive and don't be insulting because that other person is trying to listen to you so that they can improve in your life. Or let's say you are with your friend and someone jokes about something personal and someone is basically making jokes. What happens is you withdraw or you start arguing at that specific moment. And there is no connection whatsoever. It's just basically toxic all over that room. Now imagine that same guy who did that end of the year appraisal had that specific moment about that joke. What do you think will happen? This guy is already having a tough time at work. Then his friends jokes at him and he is in that specific situation. Oh my God. One time this happened to me actually. I remember when I started my LinkedIn journey, I did an awesome post, beautiful post. And I had 300 people, up to 300 people react onto that post. And you know what happened? 2 people wrote a comment which were very much frustrating, really frustrating. So what happened? My mood just changed. My energy just drained. And what happened is I wasted my time writing a response to them. And I spent, I think, around 30 or 45 minutes. And then when I thought about it, I just deleted it. Because honestly, I'm just going to be in this back and forth kind of a fight with them. And it's really not worth it. What I did is just block them. So every offense, whether it's big, small, is like a tiny leak in your energy because your energy is so huge. Once you basically fill your life with tension and you don't really want that, then you're going to start to have that argument and you're going to be in a really bad mood. Let me share with you 2 stories, and these are the opposite. The first one is, I know this guy, very talented, very smart. And when I remember him, I have this smile on my face and full of potential. But this guy, he does allow any small, even tiny offense to dictate his mood. A very moody guy. He would doubt why people are even talking or even not talking about him, honestly. When these people start talking, be it a joke, a comment, or a misunderstanding, he starts to think, why are they saying that? Why now? What have I done? Honestly, it's very dramatic. Honestly, I feel bad for him. One time, someone wrote a letter specifically about this guy. And I remember this very well. And I recall they were talking about a specific subject. Not about him, but specific subject. This guy spent 2 days writing a response. And then he called me and he's like, what do you think, Saeed? I'm like, are you serious, man? Why would you spend 2 damn days to write that specific response. Why? Why? For that tiny thing to affect your whole day, okay? And your whole weekend with your parents. Your parents are with you, man. Why would you do that? And also, just to add to that, you promised to deliver a specific project. You forgot because the deadline passed and you were very much busy writing that letter. And then he started to justify why and why. But again, he then realized that he just wasted his time. And it wasn't really a big deal. You know, what happened is he just lacked control over that specific tiny thing. The good thing is he managed to deliver the project with an extension for the deadline, which is a good thing. So this is story number one. Story number two is about a lady that I know. Her position was she would be blamed for anything. Anything happens in that company, it's her fault. As simple as that. I remember I came to her, I'm like, why don't you say anything about this? You know, people are criticizing you, they are misunderstanding you, and they're blaming you. Haram, yani, why? Why would you basically not do anything about it? But she chose differently. And she told me, you know, I decide what affects my energy and what affects my focus, not anyone else. She continues, I have 44 people reporting to me. You know, and I won't let my energy slip away because these guys want me to be in my full potential. What she does is she always pauses before any reaction. And she would ask herself, is this worth or does it deserve my energy? Most of the time, I think 99% when she told me is, no, it doesn't. And over time, people noticed that she was very much basically in control and very confident and super reliable. Honestly, her calmness became her superpower, and I have learned a lot personally from her. And I remember 1 or 2 months down the line, her team won, I think, 3 or 4 awards for excellence. Amazing, really amazing. 2 different stories that tells you basically why it's important to control your mood or to control your focus. So now I'm sure you're basically puzzled. Saeed, how can we master this? So these are like 3 critical things to do to stop getting offended. The first one is identify your triggers, you know, and these are very important. It could be a word, it could be an action, it could be even a person that constantly upsetting you. And honestly, you can't really avoid it. I mean, honestly, you may think that, oh, I'm going to avoid it. No, you cannot avoid it. It will come, it will hit you. What you should do is write it down. And this awareness is the first step to freedom. Let me share with you a word. When I have a conversation with someone, it's not a word, it's basically a sentence. When I hear it, I really don't like it. When I tell that person, why don't we do it? They say it's impossible to be done. Or someone, this is a second thing, an action, when someone is not giving me an eye contact. Or someone playing with their phone in a meeting. Or my kids telling me, okay, you know, very short, okay, and then they leave. This is very important to identify. And I did identify it because I remember when I used to hear it in the past, I would immediately trigger, immediately, without even thinking. The second step is pause before you react. So when you hear it, or when you see that action, or you see that person, just pause. Don't do anything. Create that buffer. Almost every offense loses power if you don't react immediately. So just create that buffer. Don't do anything about it. Take a breath and step back and ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? This is all internal dialogue. And usually the answer would be no. So the second step is all about pausing and then asking yourself whether it deserves your energy or not. The third thing is shift your perspective. Always focus on growth or not reacting to that specific moment. This is the most important thing. Instead of overthinking that they did me wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this specific thing? And how can I grow? And this is all internal dialogue, by the way. This doesn't mean that you are really ignoring real harm. It means you are choosing where your energy will go. And this is the most important thing. So these three steps really help me and help everyone I coach minimize their impact when it comes to being offended. And as a reflection for today's episode, take a moment and ask yourself, which recent offense, let's say in the past week, have you been carrying unnecessarily? Yeah, that one. I know you did. Pick one. Now, what's one small shift you can make today to respond with calm instead of reaction? Look at that specific thing. How did you react when it comes to that? And then what are you going to do differently next time you are encountered with that? And ask yourself, make a list. Who does deserve your energy and who doesn't? It's not about being automatic to respond because that's basically what happens all the time. It's all about reclaiming your focus, peace, and influence. And as we end, remember, offense is a choice and you're going to be offended. Every time you let it control you, you weaken your clarity and your confidence and you don't grow. And the truth is, life will always test you. It will test your patience. It will challenge your ego. The question is very simple. Do you want to let these moments control you? Or do you want to choose calm and clarity every time? Which one do you want? One path leads to stress, frustration, and missed opportunities. And the other leads to peace, confidence, and constant growing. And I want to leave you with this today. Your peace is your responsibility, and your focus is your asset. And the moment you stop giving both away your small offense, you step into the true self of yourself. A much more calmer, wiser, and really powerful. Listen, if someone in your life needs this reminder, and I know a lot needs this reminder, share this episode with them. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for tuning to Yuwab. And until next time, keep rising, keep learning, and please protect your energy. مع السلامة.